Welcome to Parchment Update, an interview series from the Parchment Community Library to bring your community closer to you. I'm Karen Woodworth, Library Ambassador. I'm joined today by Cheryl Lyon-Jenness from the City of Parchment Parks and Recreation Commission. Thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Well, we spoke earlier this year about the Consumers Energy Foundation Planet Award, and now those projects we talked about are becoming a reality. Let's start by reviewing what the Consumers Energy Foundation Planet Award is.
Well, it's an award that we applied for in the course of the last year, and it is to fund projects that enhance environmental concerns and areas in the area that Consumers Energy serves. So Parchment was interested in working on the area along the river in an environmentally sustainable and sensitive way, and ask for a couple of different things in the course of the grant. One, and we can get into what it's called. The title of the grant we received is Restore the Bank, Cool the Corridor. So what we were really interested in is the area along Commerce Lane bordering the Kalamazoo River, and interested in thinking about what we could do to not only make the bank of the river sounder and more environmentally useful, but what we could do in the bordering areas to enhance bird populations, wildlife. Shading the corridor is the cool the corridor part. So we're trying to deal with climate issues as well. And that really fit into what Consumers Energy was after in those Planet Awards. I think at the time we received ours, two other entities got an award too. So it was quite an honor for Parchment to get that and to enable us to move forward with this project in Riverfront Park.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. And so, it's been so exciting seeing new plants going in. And so, where the work is actually happening, can you tell us a little bit more specifics about that?
Oh, sure. And I hope people go down and take a look, because it's been a gradual process, but we've made in the last few weeks some major steps. There's several parts that are going to be very obvious. One is the planting of trees, again, along Commerce Lane. The first 10 of those maples went in this past week. Eventually, it will be a tree-lined corridor. And so, cooling, hopefully shady and very pleasant looking. The trees that went in are ones along the curb long area along the Kalamazoo River. A second part of the project that has gone in just recently, well, two really parts of the project that have gone in recently. We've established two picnic areas there, two picnic tables with handicapped accessible pads so people can enjoy them, with, I think, really pretty wonderful views of the river. So that's in place. And then bordering that between the city's park, between Riverfront Park, or the city's property, Riverfront Park, and the neighbors, Neighbors, is a new tree and shrub hedge that is designed to be very much sort of in keeping with bird populations and the needs of birds. So almost everything that's planted there provides fruit, particularly for bird feeding in the winter. There are going to be different blossoming times, shrubs for bird cover. And what we hope to kind of do there is not only enhance wildlife population, bird population, but make people aware of the kinds of trees and shrubs that are available that they could plant in their yard to do the same thing there. In other words, to help bird populations with the problems of winter food. And as that grows up and fills in, it will make, I think, a very actually attractive border on this edge of this Riverfront Park. And it borders also the river overlook that goes out into the river. So that's another part that's done already. The other things that we all should watch for going forward, that area will all be interpreted. In other words, what is planted there and why it's planted, why the river is as it is in that area, why they're down trees that are still in the river. We'll interpret that in terms of its wildlife benefits. I should add that this project is a part of a much larger project that Parchment has been a leader in, and that is the establishment of the Kalamazoo River as an urban wildlife corridor. So our enhancements here impact our contribution to that corridor. We will eventually move on to interpretive signage. We will move on to do some restoration work on the existing overlooks. And that probably the most complex and interesting thing is that we will look for mechanisms to restore the section of the bank of the river there in an environmentally sustainable way. So things going forward, but I think it will be a process that will take place. Some of the plantings won't occur now until next spring, but we will be going through certainly next fall with improvements in that area that should be really quite wonderful, quite a contribution to wildlife habitat in the area.
Okay, so you've already answered part of this question, but in thinking about terms of the timeline, I was wondering how far along we are in the process and what specifically is going to come next that we should watch for.
Right. Well, we made some advances, to say the least. Probably the next simplest thing to do will be tree planting along Commerce Lane to Riverview Drive, so that that corridor, that gateway to the city, is enhanced with native deciduous, probably all deciduous trees of varying species. So again, people can get some idea of what those look like, what their growth form is, and what they might use in their own yard. I'm guessing that's probably a little bit late to have that happen this fall, but it will happen in the spring. And then the other thing that we will work on over the winter is the nature of signage and where the signage could go and exactly what we want to interpret. If any of you have paid attention to that area, there's long been historical interpretation of Parchment there about people that worked in the early days of the mill, camping along the river, the movement of people, mill workers down the river on a flatboat. All of that will be reincorporated in signage that is hopefully consistent and appealing to people in that whole area, with the addition of these environmental concerns that we're emphasizing in the Riverfront Park. Again, the most complex project, and part of this project will occur again when we can work on it in the upcoming good weather months, so in the spring and summer probably, and that is the restoration of the bank. Probably going to occur with stabilization of the bank, which is largely concrete fill, as it is all along there, and then determining herbaceous native species that can hold the bank and not grow up and obscure the view of the river, because that's one of the things that's very, pardon me, very important there, to be able to see the river.
Yeah, it really is a beautiful view, and walking out on that new overlook, it's also just wonderful to see that. And so, of course, one of the other new things on the bank is the kayak launch. I don't know if you have any information on whether that's completed now or whether there's still more work to be done on that.
I'm sure anyone that's used that kayak launch knows there's a lot more work to be done on it. And we are, that it's a complex issue that is grant funded with the river trustees paying for that. And it has not worked in a satisfactory way from the beginning. So we're in the process of trying to revisit that and see what we can do about it, so it really is much more accessible to people, which has been part of the problem. So that's a work in progress. It really is. It was in the initial stage of this kind of rehabilitation of Riverfront Park, but not a part of the Planet grant. That was a previous grant that took out the trestle, that improved river flow, et cetera, in the area.
Okay. Well, it's so great to have, so many different projects going on down there, and to now finally be seeing the tangible things like the picnic benches. There's of course other benches not too far away where you can sit and watch the river, and you really can sit and watch the river now.
You can sit
So,
and watch the river.
yeah, on those good weather days, it's a great place. And even on the bad weather days, there's interesting things to be
They're
seen.
interesting things. I'm hopeful that people come to realize what a kind of tremendous asset that river is there, and the amount of wildlife that's there, the turtles that are there, the bird population that's there. And we'll do what we can to make sure that they're able to be aware of that. And I can't help but think that's a good thing probably for all of us.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we wrap up today, what else would you like us to know?
Well, I just hope people take a drive down, or better yet, take a walk down. Again, the tree and shrub border that has just been planted is filled with very interesting native plants that would be great things to grow in your yard and tremendously helpful to birds. So take a careful look. And as we get to interpreting these things, it will be easier to do. And we really hope people enjoy it. I love it when I see people at the overlook, either fishing or just looking, but picnicking in the area would be a really great thing too. So
All
thanks.
right. Yeah. And I'm sure come spring, that'll be just a primo spot for picnics.
I
All
hope
right.
so.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time today to share the information, and we'll keep looking at all the exciting developments happening.
Okay, thank you so much.